go ahead and type the TREC website into our search bar here. Okay, so we're already at trec.texas.gov, and you will go to become licensed real estate sales agent. Here you're going to see how to become a licensed real estate sales agent. The qualifications are listed here. These are your basic qualifications for anyone that wants to apply to become a real estate sales agent here in Texas. So you'll see those requirements listed here. Another thing you're going to see when you come to this site is the fitness determination. Now, this is something that I list in all of my courses just so that everyone is made aware of it. And we don't want anything that's going to slow down your application process. So with the fitness determination, this is a time for you to really get truthful and honest about your background. Oftentimes people feel like, oh, if something has happened in my past that I won't be able to get a license. Well, that's not necessarily true. By doing the fitness determination, and I'll click on it, you can see that it's an opportunity for you to explain to TREC what happened in the past, when it happened, so that if there are any criminal offenses that you may have made in the past, they won't delay you from making application or even, in fact, receiving your application. But nonetheless, that is something that you would have to discuss with TREC. So when you're submitting your application, you'll see that when you've met all these basic requirements, there's a place here where you can track the status of your application. Once you've made it, you just need to enter some basic information here and click on search, and you'd be able to track the status. But let's look at how you actually file the application. So you have a couple of options. You can file online or you can submit by mail. I believe that filing online is the easiest way to keep up with things and be able to track what you've done. There's a fee list here that tells you for a sales agent, the original application fee total is $205. So you'll be able to see your renewal fees. You can see a reinstatement application if for some reason you needed to reinstate your application. But for now, we're going to go ahead and focus on the original application. When you're ready to submit, now that you know your fees, you can click on online services. Now, I'm not going to go through this part of it for obvious reasons, but if you are setting up for the first time, you'll begin here, enter some basic information, first name, last name, email address. You'll want to make sure that they know that you are a real person and not a bot. So you get the idea here. So let's go back. Now, with regard to fingerprints, which is part of getting your application process, you'll need to have your fingerprints taken and pass a background check. So let's click here. You'll see that you are required to have your fingerprints taken. This is filed with the Texas Department of Public Safety, and you're also going to have a background check that's part of the Federal Bureau of Investigations. Yes, that's right, FBI. So what you'll do is you'll click on fingerprints. Going to enter some basic information here. When you've completed this part of the process and you've submitted your information, you will receive an email from IDentGo that will have the opportunity for you to be able to go ahead and schedule your appointment with them to have your fingerprints taken. And also in the background of this, you're going to find out that your background is being checked at the same time that you're having your fingerprints submitted. So by now, you've completed the 180 hours that's required to submit your application. Now, those are your qualifying courses, and you see them listed here. You've already gone through the process of finding an education provider, and you can submit your application to TREC along with your documentation for the courses you have passed. Now, keep in mind that some schools, like the proprietary schools, they will go ahead and they will submit this documentation to TREC on your behalf. But let's say that you took your courses at community college or one of the other colleges or universities. When you're submitting that documentation, you will use your college transcript. So you will need to convert those files into PDFs and upload them to TREC yourself. So let's move on to taking the exam. So let's click here and you'll see that you're going to take your exam with Pearson VUE, which is the test administrator here in Texas. And Pearson will send you what's called a candidate handbook. So you can request their documentation so you'll have a great idea of what to expect on the exam. You can also take an opportunity to see videos that I have compiled about the outline and then also the structure of the test. So there's a couple of exam videos that I've already made that may provide good information for you when you're preparing for this exam. But nonetheless, let's click on Pearson VUE. So as you scroll through, you can see, okay, here's Texas real estate, here's examination scheduling information. You'll also see that there are real estate practice tests that you can request so that you'll have an idea of what those exams look like. They have fees here for the broker exam and also the sales exam. These will give you some samples that you can work with. There's also frequently asked questions for the exam in Pearson VUE as well. So let's go ahead and click back to find a sponsor. Finding a sponsor is an important part of the process. You're required to have a real estate broker sponsor your license as a real estate sales agent. When you have identified a licensed Texas broker that you intend to work with, you can go online and submit a form that will give you an opportunity to identify who that brokerage is. And you'll do that at the page that we looked at previously for online licensing service. So that gives you an idea of how to go ahead and set yourself up with the Texas Real Estate Commission to show who your sponsoring broker is. This part of the journey might not be the most thrilling, but it is one of the most important. Get your license, get those fingerprints done, continue studying, and then it's go time. In the next episode, we're talking about something that could make or break your real estate career. How to choose the right sponsoring broker. Yes, you need one, and no, they're not all the same. If this helped you feel more confident about the application process, drop a comment if you've already submitted or have questions. This is License to Sell. You're not just checking boxes off your list, you're building a career.